Good evening, folks. It's 22:03 on the 6th day, first month, 2023. Are we rolling? Yes. And what I'm looking at here is some of your, how much moisture is in your soil by percentage. And it surprised me to see how much dry was out here, even below Alice Springs, where you had just had a lot of rains and where some stuff is kind of headed this way. Very, very surprised by that. Very surprised by the percentage of dry soil here. As I start seeing stories about fire seasons, I start to worry about geoengineered fires. Geoengineering is a man-made control of natural things and systems of weather, and fire happens naturally. Lightning can strike something, whammo. So I'm watching for things, and fire accelerants are in the chem. The small nanometallics, they burn very easily, bright, and very hot. And your fire seasons were reporting unbelievable fire season. Your firemen and emergency workers, they'd never seen anything like it. And so there's a lot of dry soil about, which shows you how quickly pressure can dry an area out. Because you had flooding around Perth, but it's no evidence of it. Yeah, you have something here now. Well, what about on the 15th? It's already started drying out. It's also telling me you got a good soaking. If I look at this stat here, I can usually see what happens quick. But if your soil is hard, it's not going to retain the water. It's just going to run off. And you've had a lot of water through here for this to look this dry. So it's telling me your soil is really hard. Yes, it's not seeping into the big artesian basins and stuff like that. That is attempting to frack that, by the way. You need to get on it, folks. And at some point, I'll go more into that with somebody to make you more aware of it, because it is an issue near and dear to my heart. Is a non-taxification of a planet, and well, unless the planet itself asks for a jab, I don't think we should stick pipes in the ground and push chemicals into the planet itself. If we want to make ourselves go away, that's our business. You know, this is the big body, and it should have its own choice. And as far as fracking goes over here, well, these hard soils, if they have a fire here, they got their land. They got just what you're wanting. Just what you're wanting. So, with that said, there's some of you. Is that a surprise or what? With all the water you've had up here, that you've actually got soils like this around you? Surprised me when I looked today, because I was getting curious because somebody was asking about fire season and it being really dry. I was like, where's this stat coming from? It's got to be hard soils. And even a flood running down, a lot of water on top, it'll pack soil, right? And if nobody drives over it and turns it all into mud, it's going to stay hard. It'll bake in the sun. It'll get a hard crust and it'll run. So the water don't do you no good. It just does damage. And it pulls all the trees and everything, hems them up into piles. So you've got a lot of work to do to get rid of some of those deadfalls, or the things that fell down in the forest and moved the line. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of firewood laying around. You ought to make sure you make good use of it. Make chairs out of old pieces and stuff. You definitely warm your dinner over it. So right, with that said, I'm going to turn this part off. I'm going to come over here now and take up the moisture of the soils. Turn that off. Go with our basics. Right, let's go with the weather plan for the next 24 hours. Yeah, I've already done a scoping, so let's let the whole thing run, and then I'll do some localized. New Zealand, you can see you're in the process of getting hammered almost for the full day today. As it spreads towards the South Island, your earthquake risk is going to rise. There have been some good ones across the planet today. Yeah, a lot of in the fives, a lot in the threes. They had one right where I called it, off the coast of Izmir. Yep. Yeah, I'll still be watching out. I know somebody can still watch YouTube. Keep everybody as safe as we can. I might be blocked from your Facebook, but my YouTube can still be seen. Yeah, I'm very heavily censored by a lot of the groups. Uh huh. Yeah, I don't care. That's why I don't care to join them. Yeah, it looks like you get a little bit of a break in your action here for a day. Yeah, enjoy it. If you got a nice sunny day on a Sunday, man, enjoy it. If you got a starry night, go out and look at them. Marvel at your universe. You know, those are the few things that are left that are for free is to sit and marvel at the universe. Yeah, so don't let them steal our sunshine and don't let them steal our moonlight. Uh, Beautiful full moon tonight. It'll be a late rising moon here because we're so far north. I'll catch it at about 3 a.m. It'll really be right shining through my back window. And if the chem cooperates, it'll be clear. You know, it's a shame you have to say that. But you know, as we're getting through the Monday now and we're getting towards your Friday the 13th event, watch how this set up. So you'll end up seeing here on this day here, you got to have beams on full on over here. That whole corridor has to be on. It will not work without it. When I say that corridor, I mean this. These here. There's a series of NextRads here, here, and here. They'll come on to create a straight line. They have to, right? So I'll go right back where I was. It'll be those three up there. I don't know. I'll go and show you some more of their dirty work, and they'll be pinning that. And when they let them go, they'll pop a Mount Isa on to move the storm down. That's just how that works. And coming in on the 10th is another whammo. Compliments to the geoengineers moving a big tendril moisture into New Zealand. You know, they're going to get inundated. But, you know, I gave you warning. It's the best I can do. Far north getting clobbered. But it's the monsoon season, which is every season, right? No matter what time of year, you can get monsooned. Whether it's the snowstorm in the United States, or the windstorm we got here, or New Zealand's pummeling, or the flooding of the tap, people, and the drying of the land. And that statistic did surprise me, but not really, because I like the reasons I said. A lot of floodwater has been running, things have gotten hard. There's the drought that's been induced by electromagnetic frequency, chem deployments, and such on this corner has kept this dry out here for a very long time. Yeah, they're ripe for a fire. And you guys are too. Whether you got a lot of rain, it's knocked a lot of stuff down, it's laying all over the place. Yeah, I'm nervous. What would you do to prepare for a fire? I mean, really, what would you do? Do you have fire blankets? Do you have a shovel? If you're caught somewhere, you got to dig a hole in it and lay in one of them fire blankets. Can you survive in one of them? Absolutely, if you've practiced to use it. Yeah, awareness of what's going on is the best thing, and reacting to it. Do you have maps printed in your hand? Because your GPS ain't worth nothing. Right? Don't count on it. You have got to have physical maps and know how to use them. Do you got a compass, north, south, east, and west? Yeah, it does help. Uh-huh. Well, it might be clear road one place going. Might take a left turn straight into a fire. And this has happened to a lot of people during your seasons. And I am getting nervous when I'm seeing too many reports on your news talking about it. So I'm starting to watch for the conditions of it. Uh-huh. Yes, there's are ways to see certain wavelengths of light in case we have suspicions of certain man-made activities. But when they had a fire up here in Adelaide, it followed a road at exactly 50 miles an hour. So they boom, 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 exactly evenly spaced these fires as they popped up. I was watching. It's like somebody drove down the road, an arson. Everything ain't gonna be always done with by a plane, and I don't believe everything is a lightning strike. Right? That's an unusualness, not an everyday occurrence. So I got a lot of suspicions about land grabs being done with fires. They did it out in the days of the old west, didn't they? They made you an offer to buy it. When you said no, they sent the pots to the people and to encourage you to go. And then you didn't do that, they killed you, right? Or in this case here, they flood you out. If you have a mortgage, they may say you can't have insurance, and the mortgage company says, well, you got to have insurance to have a mortgage. Well, we're just going to foreclose this. There's a lot of legal moves that can happen. Don't give up the land under your house. Thwart the plan. If the plan is to take your house by forcing it with geoengineering illegal over the top of you, you've got to not give them what was wanted. And you're in for a hell of a ride this week. Yeah, some of you are going to have nice and some of you ain't. This is not good. You want to see the totals? Of course you do. Right, here's your 3 days on the middle. Access is a little bit different. but it's still the same amount of water, just in a different shape. See? So this swath here is going to be about here. This V. It's not been, the track of that ain't been laid yet. See, they just turned all the energy and stuff off this, so and just keep doing the bump move with the chem bombs through here. This thing will truck over and look like it has a circulation on the radar. What I mean by that is this. If I do satellite, and we go to the infrared, that looks like a wild storm. It's much more of a storm looking thing there, like that, right? But when you look at it like this, it don't quite look the same. It looks all separate. It looks all balmy weather. Do you like balmy weather? How about Chembomb weather over at the Wascally Wabbit Flats over here? Oh, yeah, I knew it was a kangaroo. Somebody saw my post. I'm the Wascally Wabbit. I made that meme. Oh, dying to know what happened to these animals. I'm so tragic. But I did warn about this. The death toll of the animals is going to be uncounted. Yep. So if they're rotting in water and you're playing around in that water, you're running the risk for cholera and other diseases. You scratch yourself, you might get sepsis, but Oh my. Look at the boom boom plumes here. Boom, 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 boom. The Ross River getting chem bombed. And now for the chem bombs over there in Hermansburg. Do. Is it Munster cheese there? Look at the bomb. Bomb. They're bombing Herman. Look right here. That's a bomb. Absolutely. On the last frame. And that was 45 minutes ago. Look at a square with a bomb in it right there. This is where they're fueling the storm where it's come. So this isn't all EMF. This is a chem bomb storm. Chem bomb, what they're calling a center. Right? This part here looks more round and everything, like the big groovy what you expect to see in a storm. But really you got a square here, and a square here, all interacting with each other. Yeah, gears turning the gears. It's engineering. Of course you would use gears, levers, tension springs. It's like a leaf spring. Bump something up against it, it might bump back if this has enough force. That makes sense now for you, mechanics? Oh yeah, the mechanics are going to understand this first. Because I understand how to those analogies very well. Oh, look at the curlicue, eh? That's a chem bomb. Over there. And Punani over there. Punana, what's your name? Oh my. I don't think what thing's worse is to see the chem bombs or know what they're getting ready to do to you. Yeah. Oh, what they do to me. I see Nazi swastikas in the sky, the boom boom plumes going by, and people just looking at their phone and walk away. Today. Oh my. See these chem bombs? This isn't the clouds I've seen when I was a kid. This is a whole new manufacturing method of chem. This is not the jet plane. This is way above where those planes be flying. Best place to see a chemtrail is usually over here near Sydney, but they don't fly till 6 o'clock in the morning. So there won't be no flights coming in till then. How does he know that? Because I've flown in there before. And as we go up the coast to do the can, we got the anchors away over here, isn't it? Chembomb away. And they dropped a can on the cans. Gee, a can of what, though? Y'all need to open up a can of hoop hats. You figured that part out yet? But they'll kill us if we do that. And they're gonna kill you if you don't. Which way you gonna go? I'd rather die on my fucking feet standing, with my head held high, than die on my knees groveling for the scraps off Longshank's table. Still. While they try to breed us out. Still. And burn us out. And flood us out. Same old song and dance. Different century. Same old fox. What a shame. Watching my whales and my fish and coral getting poisoned, and they're blaming everything but the cause. That this stuff has sulfur and it's falling out on a reef. You go ahead and take calcium forms of life and pour acid on it and see how long it lasts. It turns into a sludge. What a shame. When I see this kind of stuff like that, that's what I think about. And these people studying it, they're diving in it all day. If they don't actually neutralize their skin and their clothes with some kind of baking soda or something, soda water, they're going to get burns. It's chemical burns of sulfur. It's going to add up to problems and melanomas later in life, because it'll make them more susceptible to sunburns. As I look at all this shit off the coast over here of Harvey Bay, a place I've championed for a very long time. It's just chembomb, chembomb, chembomb. One after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And there's some reefs out here with chemtrails going over them. Chemtrails over the reef. Well, they try to say it's bleaching, it's dying. I said, well, I think this reef needs sunlight to prosper. Not just to stay alive, but to prosper. It doesn't need chemtrails going over it. There ain't that many flight paths you got to bring it here. And these dang sure ain't jet planes doing this. This is lower in the clouds than that. And there's something vaporing off from these 3 dots that are whiter up here as they move along. I just see this is an endless geoengineering show here. I could just keep going on from this square edge to here, to that square edge in here with the bombs in it, to just keep going across the ocean. It's just endless. I could pull up a worldview, and as much of the screen is showing, I can go from one chembomb to the other over across the whole world. And that in itself shows you it's not just an Australian problem. It's a United Nations agreement, or some nefarious thing is going on that something's being agreed upon to do. Because it's keeping a whole lot of people out of the loop. But then again, didn't they assemble an atomic bomb without everybody knowing what was going on? Well, this day and age, if it's in the sky, it's hard to disguise. But if you haze it out enough, you'll never see what's above it going on. You'll assume, that was some lightning going on up there. It could just be a fireworks show. Showed it plenty. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na, boom, 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 ploom, boom, boom. I want to see the pattern where they're bringing it. Right, this is going to nudge this a little bit south. Alice, I wonder what that one's up to. Shall we find out? You have to excuse me. I'm still having trouble holding food down. Poor Alice. I won't let nothing beat me. You know me. It's hard to do any determinants here if it's beaming or not, because it's just such a shit image, man. They ain't showing us nothing. They ain't showing us nothing. Nothing to see here, folks. Look at your phones. It won't be over quick. But for some of you, it will. I used to want to be a professional athlete. I don't now. My God, are they dropping like flies? What a shame. Look at the big P in the sky here. See it? Is this one brought to you? Hey, man, put a P in the sky for me. Come on. It's quite a toroid they created when the center's over here. That shouldn't happen there. Not naturally. It's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah, we had the predicted glitch. I was watching a movie on the Amazon. They was talking about he'll predict a CME, and everybody will believe it's that, but we could just do this. And I went, what? I'll have to find the minutes of it and let you know what it was. It was about AI consciousness. It's a nice treatise, and I like listening to discussions about what it is to be sentient. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. Look at these bombs up here. Was that Broken Hill? No, it's Balgo Hill. Yep, Balgo Hill and Wascally Wabbit Flat. So I just looked at that a moment ago. I want to make sure there was a couple I didn't want to miss. Right, we're going to go down to the corner. There's not much going on down here other than this big EMF field here to make you go, what in the hell was that? Right? This is not naturally occurring. This was a big Chembomb deployment. Who knows why? What was required? Maybe that big P guy is having a fireworks show. But all I know is it's a not naturally occurring cloud formation, and there's Chembombs in this. It's not just EMF. Nope. It's like that zipper where they come down the line and deploy stuff left, right, left, right. Something's here's done 3. Hey, those are Chembombs. There's star formation. You know, just let fireworks off. Fireworks with lots of chemicals in them, making chemical trails. Or the short version of chemical trail is chemtrail. And it's a real word. And don't let it put your back hair up. It's just a definition that's... You were told that people lie if they say it, but if I can prove it's a chemical and it's leaving a trail, whether it's smoke or whether it's a cloud of pure water vapor or not, a telling test will reveal these things. And we deserve honest disclosure to everything that's in the sky we breathe that's put there by man. When laws are passed to clean smokestack pollution out, but yet they'll deploy something that they say the stacks are supposed to take out, right? Sulfur dioxide, things like that. Hydrogen sulfides. You know that orange gas? It's odorless. If you no, it smells like hell. When you stop smelling it is when you got to get worried. Yeah, because we live near a steelworks. Yep, and we had to be aware of these things. Hot plasma balls would go over the top of the house when they tipped the slag. I'm not just talking about Saturday night getting out of the bar. What we got here, Bill Gates got his typical logo in the sky, right down here, like the bottom, because he funds a lot of this, and I do see his logo a lot. Is that subliminal advertising? And if so, isn't that against the law? Right? So you could skywrite, eat at Joe's and get gas. Well, you eat at Bill and get gas. Or is that just another swastika? Because I do see a lot of those in the sky. And a lot of geometric bomb formations here, just typical Australian turning into Chemstralia again. And as I am concerned about the fire season because it keeps getting mentioned in the news. And lately, when certain things get talked about, certain things happen. Maybe they're tired of the ratings of the news saying, "Hey man, can we have a fire essential report on?" How about light the fire of motivation, so we could light the fire of freedom. The real freedom, not the one where you've got a name that's tied to a corpus, where you are you, and I am me, and oneness will be. And as I look at all this here, I see, my God, that oneness is bad. Just bad. As it is now, all the sockets ring in this direction. And as they widen this gap, tighten that there, widen it here, more of the rains and the waters will start projecting in this direction, and I mean projecting. And they'll come there fairly quick, because the bumps are occurring now. So I'll go back to... I'll run that for a minute because that's just dramatic. Ooh, look. Carrier, Nipperippy, and Kinte Tori over there is Dockers River. Is this where they make Dockers? Because I expected Docker to be over there. So there must be a place here they're going to flood. If it's got says docks on it, then maybe there's a river where they were bringing product. Kings Canyon. I'll have to have a look in there. That looks interesting. I'm just seeing if I see any structure. This inside here is rotating independently. So this is dissipating now. They're making the V. Right at the end, you see it. Look. Right. They're just starting to make the V now where the moisture will start coming in this direction. If the V was pointed with the open end this way, like the cornucopia doesn't pour out as fast on the thin end, does it? Nah. All right, let's get I've run that, so I'll get your totals. I've hit you a week on that already. The totals here are kind of high on the next 3 days. But the good news is, in the phase, she didn't jump that much, right? That's a very good thing. Very good thing for you. Right now for the bad news. I told you I was worried about a tendril. And it looks like I'm right. And she's sitting there, and that's a lot of water. And it's very possible that'll be coming ashore. It looks like if it's just very faintly in the pictures I've been looking at. I'm catching a curve right this. And when I see a curve like that, that means they're going to put a blast down here below Agnes Water and bring this thing in. It's gonna hem it up. So I'm very concerned about this tendril here that's out to sea. It looks like they're making a cut when I look. I can read the plan, you know. When they're making a cut like this, this will independently whammo. Probably join this tendril here unless they keep this beam up. And if they keep that beam up, most of this tendril from my middle finger up through here will come this direction, and that'll snap back that way. Or if you're lucky, they'll spin this, and that'll catch it, and it'll hold there for a while before choices occur. Because they're just now saying it's the cyclone season, right? So they could park this here and give you a very traditional one. Because you haven't had a traditional cyclone hit your East Coast yet all summer. Now it's the time you're going to see it. Yeah. Coming from this direction after you've hit a bunch going from that direction, things start leaning the other way, they're going to topple over. That's just how that works. I've seen plenty of storms in North Carolina do that through the years. Yeah, it's just how that goes. So you better hope that don't happen. Tazzy, your totals aren't ungodly or anything. Yeah, you can handle this. I started looking at some of these ones I would have gone, oh my God, about before I go, oh my God, at least it's only that. You know, when you're looking at the totals on the tens and you see stuff like this, you go, wow, phew, it's only that. Right? Used to be before it's, oh my God, here comes 2 centimeters. That's going to be bad. Right? It used to be that was going to be bad, but when you don't see the biggest, and you've already been getting totals along the way, they're swelling you up. That's what I'm worried about. Are they going to walk a cyclone down your coast? Right? Is this a setup for that? So I won't know for many, many days. So I have a concern. I'll chalk that up as a concern. So, yeah, your next 3 days is looking, some people are going to have some real nice weather. You should really enjoy your tomorrow if you have a nice day through the trough over here. Bring your raincoats with you if you're going up and down the coast here. You're going to see intermittent showers on and off all day because the pressures say it has to happen. You're right on the volatility line. And well, when you get Chembombs too, right? When the rains for which you complain can be caused by planes, and you have to every day could be a moment away from having a superstorm or a dry spell. And we got to confront this squarely. It's not a round storm out to sea. It's 2 overlaying squares, one over the top of the other. See that now? You pick that up? See the shadow? Just picking up the shadow there. This is satview.bom.gov.au. I think Himwari 8 makes the product. They have really good radar sites on theirs. Lots of links. Here's a bird. A bird cloud. Hey, I can name it anything I want. It's my imaginary. You see his wing? Oh, no. Is it a buzzard now? Is it going to picky drag? Is it the snake coming out of the... Yeah, come on, let me have a little imaginarium here. And there's the Chembombs at the end, just coming right on out there. You know, that's not a turd from the bird. Sometimes we need to give him the bird, and the bird would be the word. Word? See if we can pick up anything here. I haven't run this yet. Oh yeah, you're well bombed. Look over here. See him? Still running. Yeah. You feel dry, Shannon. Well, I don't know. Should I behave or should I say, what makes you moist? Humidity. Lord Howe Island. Alrighty then. That was borderline inappropriate, but I did read a comment. Ah, God, what a move. It could have been worse. Let me see what we got going on today. That was all in good humor. Right, when we get to this day here, what's the pressures looking like? We do our determinants. This is where we look ahead. We go beyond what Windy tells us, right? Into the land of which Higgins dare not go. The land of not fed to him on a plate. Well, I've been feeding you these on a plate now all year. If he just followed suit with me an hour after I issued the warning for Western Australia, he would have nailed the Fitzroy Crescent Bridge like I did when I told people, don't be going down there. That bridge is gone. It's going to be gone. I seen the totals. About 7 days in advance, I was telling people to be moving their cattle and all that out of them bottomlands. There would have been a lot more floating if that warning didn't get out. So for that alone, I feel a success. So go ahead, abuse me some more. It just fuels me to do this. So your 14 lines on this is very volatile. That's why you're going to see some pop-ups down here and here. The flow will come through here finally. Good. When the flow comes through here, things can move. When I bottleneck it, it bottles inland. But with a bubble up like this, it's going to drink some of that cold once in a while and throw it up here. Like that. And these bubble ups here is going to tend to pin these here. If we put a glitch here with my middle finger, the exact tip of my middle finger, and I glitch it down here, and half on Alice, this will happen just like that. The one over here, what Giles has to go on, Perth has to pop. On this day here, to make this happen, it has to. Pop in Perth, heats the corner. Heat the corner, nothing could come in. You could create a drought over in this corner. And I could show you the moves through the years. I've been watching them create your drought and the California drought using electromagnetic frequency and chemtrails. Chemtrails can make it not rain. You could get so many particles in the air that each little cloud nuclei is small, right? Because it has so much dust to cling to, it never grows the big droplet big enough to fall. So they can just put more chem, wick your moisture into it by vibrating it with frequency, right? Into uncollate drops. So I showed you that levitation video where they move water droplets, right, with sound. And it does stuff like that. It takes drops and moves them apart, pushes them back together. You know, it makes spits, things that spit off. That's where I first started picking up on the spitting off moves, actually, was watching them use frequency to move water droplets. It's where I twigged on that. Hey, we gotta think about things before we make our opinions up. And even then, we gotta never fully make our opinions up. We gotta be open to new ways of looking at things. Sedona, looks like you're about to have another little problem. You're right on a lane. So are you here, Melbourne. But that dip up eventually is going to come up. That'll come over and close the door. Close the door. But will she spin? I have no idea what the winds are like here. Yeah, absolutely. So if it spins, will she walk up the coast? Now while that one's coming down. You hear what I said? It's got a hard force down and in. It's coming inland. That can't go down coast with pressure like that. It's impossible. Because this is moving in this direction. This line under here is high. This one's moving in this direction over the top here. Right? This is a slow, really slow move towards that sun. Slowly moving that way. So it's really backing that side of the storm up. It has to come in. So whatever totals come from that's coming this way. It's coming in this way like this. If they put the beams on down in the line here, it saves your asses when it fucks them. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna be vigilant. Very, very vigilant. Because that's a very dangerous situation. And the pressure's gonna dictate it all. If you can read the pressures, and you can read the chem, and you have a basic understanding of fluid dynamics, you could do a weather forecast type thing. But could you do one like me? No one could do it like me. No one's going to do it like you either. Isn't that beautiful? Life is wonderful. So what else did I need to show? I showed you that. I showed you that. I showed you that. I showed you yourselves. My eternal question: who is the boss of all this destruction? Well, you know what? Oops, excuse me. Who is the boss of all the destruction? That's an answer that we all deserve an honest answer to. But they say it's funded by philanthropy. And the biggest philanthropist that I know of funding the geoengineering is Bill and Melinda Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates fund Scope X. Right? Funds this. Right? That's the Chembomb spray. Funded by Bill Gates. Well funds this. He's been funding it a long time. Let's see what the other one is. There's a few of them in geoengineering he funds. Gates funded Project Loon. Have you know about Project Loon? It was a Google project to put balloons in the sky for making mobile 5G platforms. But as I was tracking these things around, I was noticing plumes, chembombs coming off from wherever they're deployed, and they're that small. You see the size of that tower? See the size of these? Sometimes you might even see an orb way up the sky. Is that a spaceship? Even at the time, I was like, oh, these people need to know about Project Loon. When they get up in a super high atmosphere, these will expand vastly, and they'll just explode. And they just come down. And then this thing's on a parachute, and they'll recover it. They're very expensive. Internet balloon. So you'll look into that, and he's funded that as well. That kind of gets you where it's going. It's litigated by the United Nations, actually. Yeah. Let's see if it gives me straight away. SIGI document 111 shows the litigation of it here. I hope this helped answer your question. I just haven't see it. You got lucky on that one. But you asked one that's asked for me a lot. The other one that's asked to me a lot is if the people that are doing this are breathing it toll, how come they're not dying too? Well, they have access to health care that we do not. Whether it's medbed technology, having their own dialysis machines and all their houses of governance. The president has his own operating tables. He never has to wait in line. They have EMF-proof windows that survive various things. Even the nuclear-type blast, they have military air filtration systems that, average person like us just can't afford. Now, if you look here on page 13 of that document I just popped you, you'll see this here, where it says delivery vehicles, aircraft, artillery shells, and stratospheric balloons. For sulfur dioxide, which I said that turns to acid rain, dissolves reefs. Wouldn't you say that could be bleaching it? I say it could. I imagine anybody could if you'd use your mind. Think about it. And this document goes over so many methods. Some people talk about is sun simulator mirrors. You know what that is here? They want 55,000 mirrors in space. And they ain't going to be aimed at you. All right? 55,000 are going to show up. So why? It's a little bit different. The artificial sun experiment, I should go into some of these ones sometime for you guys. Because they have gone through all these self. Hey, let's add some rust to the ocean. In other words, can we dump some of our garbage here instead of incinerating it like we're supposed to? I'd love to figure out a way to get you to approve of taking their trash out for you, like fluoride. You want to drink this? Hey, have some chemo. Yeah, let's just find a way instead of having to dispose of something toxic so it's not toxic in the ground for other creatures. What a shame. So there's a couple of goodies for you. I hope that helped you out a little bit. Let's see. Have I gotten all the accumulations? Yeah, I have. I finally have. Okay, New Zealand, I'm going to give you a separate shot. But you got a rough time coming over the next 24 hours. So here comes your shot. This is for my Wanoa on the island. heavy flow here. When that changes size, that's going to be bad. Hey, Kevinoff, man, I bet you this shit's rough out there. I saw the pictures that you showed. My God, that was rough seas. Hitching's just hanging out in it. Yawns. That gave it to you by the hour. So you can always rewind and say, hey, look what that looked like. And he fucks with you and goes, icon. All right. Is Higgins not watching yet? You really want to see something bad? Here, I'll show you something. He took his notes and run so he could start his forecast. Because he hates it when we say, hey, you did yours 2 hours after Robert. Because he has to have a whole team approve of his post. But I don't. Or maybe he's too busy whining. Well, what post could I use to make people want to join me? Well, tell them just enough, but not tell them where they're going to get safe. Your wins are going to be very high. Very, very, very high on New Zealand. Yeah, you're going to have to be very conscious of your tide tables. Remember, there's a full moon come here, so even by then, there'll be enough moon to be given quite an influence. Even today, the king tides are going to be quite high. Quite high. And there will be king tides. Yeah, your winter and spring solstice is always king tide. Winter summer, excuse me. Look at this. Fucking hell. They put a lot of pressure on the island. As in pushing on the sides of the island itself. Because you gotta remember, these things are fluid. Right? It may be crusty on top. It's a bit broken and it's wobbly underneath. And there's been a lot of action over here where my middle finger is. It's a big magma chamber under there. That sucker ever woke up. There's the day. I told you it was going to perk right over the top of you. Now you're seeing some winds. We're going to actually get one. It's still barely a tropical cyclone, but they'll call it that. We'll find a wind and cause that. You'll have a tropical cyclone on Tuesday the 10th right over the top of you. Bringing a barrel of rain with it. With accumulations that are really, really high on the fives. That's what I just took you up to. Right? There's multiple sayings of what you're going to get. This is worse. They had one total over here. I wasn't even going to show you, but if they're not show you, it's not doing you justice. Right? Deal with that. Just deal with it. Alright? 30 centimeters. Yeah, that's a lot. That's nearly a foot. It's over 11 inches of water. Coming in quick fashion over the next 5 days. And on the 10th, they hit the middle. Yeah, this event here is like it was earlier this year. It's been over and over and over and over and over again. Port New Zealand has been getting flooded once after the other and is getting no news coverage. This area, the Wakatani down here, constant target. Lower Hutt, constant targeting. Roatoria, constant targeting. I know I pronounced it wrong. But, you know, that's just how it goes. Diarrhea. That's just aria. If you die over there, you die in aria. Okay, don't be dying in aria over here. Pay attention to these warnings, or you might die in aria. Watch what you eat, because you would die in aria of diarrhea. But they put that on your tombstone if that happens, I think. It should be mandatory. It should be the law. Man, the flooding is going to be very, very bad in Hastings. All this runs here. Napier and Hastings. You got problems. Big problems coming. So what are we going to do? We're going to keep an eye on this. We ain't going to panic. We're just going to never fear, just prepare. You know? You folks are tough folk. Prove it. People tell you it's geoengineering. Don't act like a numbnut. Prove it. Say, okay, show me why you say this. That's a better way to reply. And then when you say, no, it isn't, the person you talk to says, show me why you say that. And then show them. By the way, no, I saw it on television is allowed to be proof. Oh, my videos are allowed as proof. You really got to do is go over to Worldview, pull up your house, right? You just go on in and you type in your house name right over here, right? Let's say you living over here and you want to look at New Zealand. You would type your name in and you would go look. What was it like yesterday? Hey, remember that time we all got sick? What was the sky looking like that day? Was it? Oh yeah, maybe that was it. When we get sick last time, did the sky look like that? You know, make your correlations through actual observations. Okay, and it's the best way to do things, I think. It's the way I roll. I get all the rumor mill in the world. I get all the stuff I can't prove in the world that looks dramatic. It's like, wow, it's very effective looking. But if it's a lie, it's not right. Lies is what got us in this position here. They just dud. And if you care to support my work, you could do so at paypal.me/Robert Deutsch. I'll try to remember to put it on my YouTube comments. People keep suggesting it for me, but I don't want commercials. I think commercials just detract from you paying attention to something. That's a shadow, I think. Yeah, that's a shadow from the edge of that cloud. That was very dark. Anything that lived down there, it didn't get no light at a time of day it's supposed to get its light. And somebody somewhere decided it shouldn't. And for all those creatures, I say no, they did not. They should not. This casket-looking black spot should never be occurring in our oceans. Because who knows what the casket's going to be. How big a casket would you need to hold all the fish that have died here that you don't know about, right, in all these storms? How many will you need caskets for all these animals that floated out Fitzroy Crescent Way, which is now got a river quite white. You won't see for a few days, but we could watch some of these turn into really white rivers, and you'll watch the green then pop up around the outside of them. It looks quite beautiful watching the desert go green, but it doesn't look so beautiful watching homes go away because somebody wants your green. Right? The moolah, the monopoly money. Banking money's just a game to them. Look at the Monopoly board. Does their money look anything in the same colors and denominations that the ones you go to the bank and get? It did to me everywhere I went in the world. And that's telling you everything. It's a Parker Brothers world, man. And brothers that parked in houses of governance and control for far too long. And it's time to deliver the parking tickets and evict them from the parking deck. And that is all. Big love. Peace.